the letter goes Friday, and Jay's out the following Wednesday. Maybe Jay thought this letter was something he needed to do. B-Team here again without Darkstar, who is wrapped up in some business things, and I just can't get him on the schedule. But we are working on it. Today is a follow-up to the Jay stepping aside saga, maybe mystery, one of those two, maybe somewhere between those. But a couple more details we wanted to add. Talking to Darkstar about this, I have a list down here. And then we're going to do yet another video, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. Today's Monday, day after the U.S. Open, the 19th, on the same topic. So we love timelines here at Thinking Man Show. We don't talk about them enough, but we do behind the scenes talk a lot about timelines because it explains a lot when there's gaps in information, which there certainly is now with this Jay thing being out on for a medical situation, whatever that means. So the timeline, let's go over this real quick. The timeline that we're talking about here is June 6th. So June 6th is a Tuesday, and we have this out of nowhere announcement that the PIF is going to enter into some type of joint venture. Call it whatever you want. We think joint venture. Media is running with merger with PGA Tour and DP World Tour. Okay, June 6th. June 9th, Friday. So that's Tuesday, the Friday. A few days later, June 9th, Jay Monahan sends a letter, 2-page letter, from the PGA Tour to a U.S. congressperson. We don't know who. The name is redacted. Somebody he's been talking to, among others, probably. And the letter, and we're going to link to it here in the description, and this is what we're going to go over in more detail on maybe tomorrow or the next day in the new video. The letter is a cover your rear end letter, and it's got more detail in it than the announcement that they put out on Tuesday, on the 6th, that announced the whole deal with PIF. So this letter comes on the Friday, and it's got a few more details that they didn't talk about on Tuesday in the official announcement that was crafted. Of course, all these things are crafted, right, by a team of people. And then this letter says some odd things. I don't want to get into the details of that. We'll save that for tomorrow's show or Wednesday's show. But why am I bringing it up? Because Friday, June 9th, the letter hits, the Congress gets the hold of the letter, not just this particular congressperson. It circulates, and there's a lot of, there's a stir on Capitol Hill here in the United States. And they don't take this letter very well. They read it like, hey, what are you talking about? We didn't do enough to help you defend yourself against PIF, which was kind of the theme of the letter. That PGA Tour did what it could, and it needed help from the U.S. Congress, legally, I guess is what PGA Tour would mean, to block this investment or this startup, not investment, this rival league, however odd that might be. Limit competition. That's what we want you to do, Congress. Really. So that's what the letter's about. But June 9th, that hits. Okay. Not received well at all by Congress. And these are powerful people with lots of contacts. Probably know Ed Hurley pretty well, the chairman of the board of the PGA Tour. Probably Jimmy Dunn, too, now vice chair, I believe, of the PGA Tour, but certainly on the board. Those two guys put the deal together, right, with Yasser Al-Rumayyan. Okay. Well, what happens the following Wednesday? So that's Friday. Now we have the weekend. People are talking about it. Ed's probably on the phone with some of these Congress people, or with at least Jimmy talking about it, maybe with Jay too. Hey, the letter wasn't received very well. The media's running with a little bit. We got the U.S. Open coming up next week, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they're chatting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What happens on Wednesday, June 14th? Just a few days later, 3 business days later, Jay is stepping aside. What? The CEO of the PGA Tour sends this letter on Friday. Monday, Tuesday, 2 business days to work on why did we do that? What happened? How was the letter received? And on Wednesday, the June 14th, they announced that Jay has a medical situation and he's stepping aside, not going to go recuperate. We're rooting for him. More details to follow. Please respect him. You could have done it that way. No. stepping aside, the key words that you would use at any corporation to say, this guy's not going to be there for a while. And here are his replacements. And they named the two replacements, the president and the COO. Okay. That timeline says a lot. June 6th, Tuesday, the deal is announced with PIF. The following Wednesday, really one business week later, the guy that the announcement said was going to run the whole show, be CEO of the new entity and call all the shots, et cetera, is going to be Jay Monahan. One business week later, stepping aside. All right, what's that tell us? Well, sort of a, not an oblique, but a corollary point is that tells us that Jay was never part of the deal making, which we already knew, of course. It was Ed Herlihy. It was Jimmy Dunn helping Ed Herlihy get the deal done with Yasser Al-Rumayyan and his team at PIF. Fine. Not done, but get the deal rolling. And we talked about that in our show about that. Okay, so this Jay stepping aside confirms that he was never a player in that deal. Fine. I want to make an interesting point. 2 points real quick here. This is another short video today. The letter goes Friday, and Jay's out the following Wednesday. Okay, so to plot that getting Jay out on Wednesday, that had to start Sunday, Monday at the latest. And they worked on it. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Etc. So it was in the works pretty much right away. Why? Well, one thing that came to the top of our minds quickly was, did Jay not shop this letter past Ed and Jimmy? Did he not make it hey, I'm going to send this letter. Here's what we're working. Here's the wording. Please review it. Give us your thoughts. Put it out there in the margin. We'll incorporate that. Or if you don't think it's a good idea, you let me know. You would assume he did that with the deal maker, the chairman of the board, Ed, who's apparently intimately involved, right? Maybe he didn't. Maybe Jay thought this letter was something he needed to do all by himself or for his executive team, not the board. It's really odd, so maybe it was not shot past Ed. That's that point. We don't know that, but it's odd. Leads me to my next point. Look up Jay's history. This is common in corporate world. Jay came to the PGA Tour in 2008 from working in sports, and he was working at IMG. He did a couple other things, but always in sports, doing marketing stuff, tournament organizer, that kind of stuff. Comes to PGA Tour in 2008 when Fincham was there as the commissioner. So let's just skip ahead. He's Fincham's guy. He was hired to run the Players' Championship just as a tournament director, but then moved up the ranks. So good for him. And then he replaces the Fincham as commissioner in 2017. Well, who is Jay not handpicked by? Ed Herlihy. So Jay's not Ed's guy. Usually in corporate world, when there's M&A and there's things not going well and etc., the head of the power base, in this case the chairman of the board of the PGA Tour, Ed Herlihy, might quickly start looking at Jay Monahan as, well, Jay was really never our guy. We didn't handpick him to be commissioner of the PGA Tour. Things were going fine. There was no reason to rock the boat. He seemed to be well respected by the players, and things were going fine. Now, what do we have? Well, Jay sort of blew it with the live thing to some extent. We've been saying that for a year, that what are these tactics and strategies are silly. Didn't work. Here we're left with running out of cash in 12 to 18 months. Ed stops in, makes a deal to save the place. Great. Gets rid of this litigation. Fabulous. That's already been dropped. Gets Jimmy on the board to help him do that. Now we're moving along. But now it's sort of obvious, like, Jay's not our guy. He didn't come through the same kind of educational system that we did, meaning Ed and Jimmy. So he's not really our kind of guy. He's not a Wall Street guy. He doesn't have a law degree. He's just, Fincham did have a law degree. Let's get somebody better. That's more our guy, that can really run this thing, that's going to get a new, whatever, pick a number, $700 million of investment capital from the PIF. Maybe it's 500, maybe it's $1 billion, but this is turning into a, more interesting situation. It's still a small business by Wall Street standards, but maybe we need a new guy. And we wanted to point out that Jay is far from obvious that Jay is their guy because he didn't come there underneath Ed's leadership. So very important point. And then we're going to close today with this one point. And we're going to run. Greg Norman. Say what you want about Greg Norman. He has something that Jay Monahan does not have. Two big somethings, actually. First off, Greg, at this point in time, is trusted far more by the players than would be Jay Monahan. Greg hasn't betrayed anyone. Greg has said what he's said for 25 years, been pro player all that time. So at the very least, even if you don't like the guy personally or his character or his personality, hey, he's a guy we can trust. And that's not something you can say about Monahan. Okay, what else is Norman? He's a player. Two-time major champion, world number one forever. He's a player. And players like other players. And that's something else Greg has going for him. We're not saying Greg's going to be, the leader of the whole thing or anything like that. But that is an important point to make. We'll close on that. We'll finish up, we'll do another show on the letter itself and we'll parse that and the language, as that's very interesting. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. For now, B Team is out. We don't charge for our videos. We don't tease you with some of the information and then make you go somewhere else and buy the good stuff. We want to help. So we just give it all to you right here. And if you'd like to maybe give us $1 or $2, that would be awesome. We're on Venmo. It's super easy. Just hit us up there, connect, and whatever you want to do. We love it. We appreciate it.